Guys, it has been a minute since we played a detective game. Since we played a whodunit. And you know how I love a good whodunit on the channel. Ever since, what was the last one? The Duck Detective, I think? But anyhow, we're not covering that stuff today. We are doing a new one. Today it is Detective D, the Silk Road Murders, where we are playing as the legendary detective D. Renjie, I think that's how you pronounce his name, as we have to track a serial killer. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. This is a game by Noopy Show and Red Deer Games, and I mean, as you can see from the kind of pixelated artwork in the background, it's that type of game. It's a pixel artworky kind of game, but I hear very, very good things about it, and so we're going to be going into it. Let's do it, guys. Let's go solve some murders. Let's go. This is a work of fiction. While based on real historical subjects, all characters and events are depicted in a fictitious manner. Prologue. Diplomatic means. I love the font. Peng Lai, Tang Dynasty, China. The messenger said I would find an officer standing guard. This must be the right place. Okay, so we have a mouse. Presumably this is us. There's a guardian line. There's a guard. Another guardian line. A weeping willow. Let's go talk to this guy. Oh, I see. He must be the officer the messenger spoke of. See, I don't like that. I think they should have used classical English there. He must be the officer of whom the messenger spoke. I would have gone with, but you know. Let's talk to him. My name is D. Renjie. I'm the newly appointed investigating magistrate of Peng Lai. A messenger was sent to fetch me only 30 minutes ago. He named Foreign Minister Wang Hua as his employer. I understand I'm meant to help with an urgent matter. You're the new investigating magistrate? Excuse my bluntness, but I wasn't expecting someone so young. You have a keen eye. I've just recently completed my studies in the capital, and this is my first appointment as a county magistrate. But in my time in the capital, I gained invaluable experience serving as secretary of the Imperial Archives, and an assistant to the Imperial Counselor before that. But I believe the minister requested my presence urgently. We must not keep him waiting. Of course, apologies for my indiscretion, but on a night like this, one can't be too careful. I am Sergeant Feng Chonglong, Minister Wang's private guard. Please, may I see some proof of your title? Okay. What proof do we have? Do we have an inventory? Okay, so if we scroll up, we have the Imperial Edict. I hereby bestow upon you, D. Renjie, the rights and responsibilities as described by Imperial law of investigating magistrate of the district of Peng Lai. Okay, so this is our seal. My official mandate is decreed by the Imperial Court. It's authenticated by a Royal Dragon seal. Okay, well that's what he wants. Let's give it to the guard. Thank you, Magistrate D. The minister is waiting for you in the entrance courtyard. Okay. What have we here? A well... Minister Wang Hua. Yeah, let's get to talking to him. It must be Foreign Minister Wang. I heard he was appointed by the Emperor himself. He is a powerful man. Why would he seek my assistance at this hour? No doubt a matter of life and death. I fear the worst. Let's find out. You must be Minister Wang. And you must be D. Renjie, the new magistrate of our little coastal district. I wish we could have met under less dire circumstances. I understand you've only been at your new post for 2 weeks. The minister is well informed. I've only begun to settle into my new station. The area is still quite new to me. In truth, I've only visited the military fort so far. This compound, on the other hand, I did not know existed. Indeed, this estate was built just recently to serve only the most exclusive guests of the Empire. Its existence is strictly on a need-to-know basis. Why do I need to know? Then we are not alone? Yeah, why do I need to know? So it appears you've put me in a privileged position, but why? Of that you are correct, young magistrate. But one word of advice. That position you speak of is fraught with danger. Knowledge, after all, comes at a price. But you seem keen enough. Good. I shall start from the beginning. As you know, this district borders a coastal region that is under constant threat by the Korean Navy. I was sent here and tasked to conduct secret negotiations with my Korean counterpart, Ambassador Choi. The Emperor himself summoned me to help deliver his proposed border treaty, a move that would undoubtedly help him regain favor in the eyes of the court and the kingdom. Needless to say, there are factions that would have nothing more than to see the Emperor fail. The Emperor is a revered man. Who threatens the Emperor? Is the Emperor in jeopardy? Are you suggesting that the Emperor's enemies are on the move? Of that there is no doubt. If 30 years in the Imperial Court has taught me anything, it is that no Emperor can truly rest. Night after night he lies awake, anticipating the next shadow. His enemies are too numerous, too persistent. The Emperor is a revered man. My father served under our Majesty. He is a capable and beloved ruler. Your father served a young and vibrant man. Today the Emperor is an old and feeble leader, a mere shadow of his former self. As his health wanes, his wife, Wu Zetian, grows with influence. As his favor falls, consort Wu gains power behind the curtains. So who threatens him? The kingdom is prosperous. Who would dare defy the Emperor? The Imperial Court is full of usurpers waiting for their chance to strike. That is why this treaty is more than a simple diplomatic calculation. Its symbolic value is immeasurable. The Emperor must show his strength, now more than ever, or I'm afraid his legacy will end badly. And your role? Barely 5 months ago, I was still enjoying the life of a retired official, but who refuses the Emperor? Clearly he needed an outsider like me for the job, a loyalist unlikely to be influenced by his detractors. Yet tonight, I stand at the precipice, looking clumsily at the bottom of the ravine. Perhaps you can save me. Now, come with me. Okay. Moments later, on the far side of the compound. Oh, that's not good. The unfortunate man you see before you is Choi Yong-jun, Korean ambassador to China. Tonight was meant to be a triumphant victory. But fate has a cruel way of shuffling the deck just as you begin to believe in your own destiny. Tell me what happened. Ambassador Choi and I had been meeting here secretly for weeks. Our work on the treaty was almost complete, and we arranged to meet this evening to finalize it. It started innocently enough. Choi and his private guard arrived in time for supper as usual. After a light meal, our business began in earnest over some jasmine tea. Just as it had many times before. But what follows is the terrible blur. I remember suddenly becoming very dizzy. Moments later, I felt myself resting my head on the table before me, closing my eyes and unable to open them again. When I woke, it felt like I had slept for hours. Someone must have witnessed this? That was my hope. But when I interrogated the others, all had the same answer. Unconscious, each and every one. And Choi? He was gone. No one knew what happened to him, so I ordered an immediate search of the entire estate. We looked everywhere. In the end, it was his private guard who found him here, murdered in cold blood. Apparently the ambassador had previously commented on how peaceful this waterfall had made him feel. How tragic. It's hard to deny the serenity of this place. May he rest in peace. Let me remind you that if we do not find a suitable explanation for the ambassador's death, Tonight's events will create a rift between our two nations that no diplomatic means could mend. That is why you must solve this case tonight, or the consequences will be grave for all of us. Yes, of course, I shall start my investigation. Has anyone been allowed to leave the premises? No, I've ordered everyone to stay until this matter is resolved. I myself walked to the nearby military outpost to request a messenger be sent for you. Otherwise, none have been permitted to step outside of this gated compound. Very well, I shall interview each person and search the area for clues. Okay. I guess it's time for us to start detectiving. Let's check out Ambassador Choi. His body is partially underwater. If any forensics evidence existed, it's likely been washed away. Okay. I won't be able to rely on an autopsy, so I'll need to examine him carefully. Let's examine his head. The back of his head has been smashed in by a narrow, jagged object, likely killing him on the impact. Something is tucked under his undershirt. A silk handkerchief with the ambassador's seal. Okay, we've got that. Under his arms. No defensive wounds or any signs of a struggle. Could he have known his attacker? No doubt. Small footprints are still visible at the edge of the water. Curiously, it seems he was facing away from his attacker when the assault happened. A blow to his head was fatal, but why was he facing away from his killer? We need to find the murder weapon. Unless he was threatened or carried here, it seems the ambassador came on his own volition. But why? Perhaps he knew the killer. Most likely. What's this used candle? Looks like a partially used candle. Okay. What about his cap? Looks like his hat. Okay. Nothing else that we can see here. Let's do the waterfall. It's Minister Wang Hua. What is... Okay, so I see here. So we have to collect evidence to fill out this deduction board. And when we have enough, I suppose we can start deducting. Cool. Okay, let's talk to Minister Wang Hua. Why did you ask for me? Who else was on the premises? This compound is comprised of a small house and a private garden, which itself surrounds the waterfall. When in use, it is attended by my staff of 3, a house steward, a cook, and a maidservant. The ambassador and I each have a private bodyguard who remain by our sides at all times. Where are they now? You met my guard at the front gate. Ambassador Troy's guard is standing outside this very cave. The house steward is trying to keep himself busy in the main courtyard, and you'll find the cook and the maidservant in the house. Okay, how did you fall unconscious? Some sort of sleep-inducing drug, I imagined. At first I thought our food might have been tampered with, but since dinner was served to only the ambassador and I, this would hardly explain why the others succumbed as well. After waking, I examined the candles that were lit earlier in the evening, and judging by their condition, it seems we passed out for just half an hour. Yet the remarkable thing is, if all accounts are true, everyone in the house passed out at the same time. When I worked as Secretary of the Imperial Archives, I once read of a case in which a powerful sleeping gas was introduced into a closed room. All within it were knocked out minutes later. If what you say is true, it's highly possible a similar method was used here. As a matter of fact, at the time of the dinner, all doors and windows were indeed closed. Okay, did you notice anything strange? I've replayed the events leading up to the disappearance over and over, but alas, nothing suspicious comes to mind. Were you the first to regain consciousness? No, the house steward and Troy's guard were already awake. They claimed to have come to only moments earlier. The others woke shortly after I did. Who knew about the meetings? For obvious reasons, the people presently here all have some degree of knowledge about the meetings themselves. But the Emperor himself is the only one who knows the nature of the work the ambassador and I were engaged in. The treaty was only to be made public after we had finalized it. Evidently, we were not cautious enough. What is so important about this treaty? Our work here would have ensured a decade of prosperity between our two nations. Who do you think that benefits the most? The Koreans? No, they have no stomach for war against our empire in the first place. Make no mistake, our emperor is the only one who would have gained the most from this agreement, allowing him to recapture the hearts and minds of the people in the twilight of his reign. But he will be the one paying most dearly for this failure. Like vultures circling a weak prey, his enemies will advance. Mark my words. We have much to learn, young magistrate. We live in uncertain times. Each move we make can now either secures the empire or precipitates its demise. Okay, why did you ask for me? As the investigating magistrate for this district, you are responsible for all matters of law and order that arise within its borders. As such, you are judge, jury, prosecutor, and detective. Notwithstanding the secret nature of these meetings, you alone have the jurisdiction to investigate and solve this case. And by the heavens, I hope you do. We'll figure it out, don't we? Any suspects? I wish I could say I do, but to my knowledge, no one here have any motive to kill him. Okay, I will investigate further. Good, I will be in the sitting room if you need me. Okay, well, we've investigated Ambassador Choi. We've had a quick word with Minister Wang. Let's head out of the waterfall. I need to inspect the crime scene evidence more closely before I leave. Okay, that means there's still something here for us to see. What have we missed? Silk handkerchief. Imperial edict. Used candle. Can we mix stuff? Okay, so there's a small bulge on the inside of his cap. A secret packet is sewn into the lining. There is a small piece of folded paper inside. An anonymous letter added to inventory. Okay, hello. How long will this charade go on? You will not get rid of me so easily. I will have my answer tonight. Oh, found a letter in Troy's cap and learned of a potential threat. Okay, that's useful. Alright, is that everything that we can do here? I believe so. Okay, so this is Troy's guard, Captain Bay. The death of the master will undoubtedly carry severe consequences upon his return to Korea. Oh dear, let's have a word with him. My name is Renjie. I'm in charge of this investigation. Are you Ambassador Troy's military guard? Yes, sir, I'm Captain Bay of the Korean Royal Guard. Buddy, you're in some trouble. But there is no need for any further formalities. I do not wish to speak to any Chinese officials until an investigation team from my country is present. What do you mean? Why should I trust the Chinese detective when it is under Chinese care that the ambassador has been assassinated? Do you think me that naive? I can help. I can help you find answers, but you have to trust me. Trust you? How do I know this wasn't a plot conceived by your own government? How do I know you are not part of the act? I understand your reservations, but if we do not act tonight, the trail may be lost, and we may lose our only chance to apprehend the killer. How can we do just nothing and wait? I will make a bargain with you. Show me that you are truly here to find the truth. Show me your skills as an investigator, and I will cooperate and answer your questions. Very well, you have a deal. I will return when I have uncovered more about the case. I shall expect your cooperation. Okay, so can we show him this deal? This letter? No, that's probably not a good idea. Can we show him the silk handkerchief? Nope, that won't work. What about showing him our Imperial edict? Nope, won't be necessary. Okay, so... Hello? Hollow tree trunk? Something seems to be stuck in the tree trunk. Hello? The object that's lodged in there is just beyond my grasp. I need something to extend my reach. Okay. To the main courtyard. Let's go to the main courtyard. Okay, so there's clearly something stuck in there. The tree hollow. We're getting there. We're getting some clues. Alright. What is around here? Cherry blossoms? From the looks of it, this lovely cherry blossom was in full bloom just days ago. Okay. Okay. The lanterns. We've got Steward's Song and a rag. Let's have a word with Steward's Song. His blank expression suggests a man looking for a distraction, but sweeping the floor doesn't seem to be helping. Howdy, sir. Are you the steward of this estate? Yes, sir, and you must be Renjie, the detective Minister Wang spoke of. I'm Song Yuan Ming. I manage the small staff that cares for this compound and its guests. It's a relief to see you here, sir. Perhaps now we can find out what really happened here tonight. That is my hope also. Can you tell me how the night unfolded? Dreadfully, sir. Not in 100 years could I have imagined such terror. We thought this place was safe, untouchable even, but those nations are quickly smashed to bits tonight. Go on. Well, I was in the kitchen when it happened. I was overseeing the plating of some desserts with Chef Chu when, for no apparent reason, he just tumbled to the ground like a large sack of rice. I bent down to assist him, but suddenly my vision became blurry, and my legs felt weak. My weight pulled me to the floor, and that was that. I was out cold. Later, when I came to and saw that Chu was still on the ground, I checked to see if he was still alive, which he was. I knew then that I had to run to the sitting room, where I suspected the others had suffered a similar fate, or worse. And there they were, all unconscious except for the ambassador's bodyguard. As I looked at him standing over his master's seat, it was at that moment that I realized the ambassador was missing. Did you wake the others? No, I didn't want to risk it. Who knows what kind of poison we had been subjected to? But there was no need. Only moments later they all started waking one by one. Once Minister Wang became fully aware of the situation, he immediately ordered us to search the premises for Ambassador Choi. I was as shocked as everyone else when his own guard found him dead in the garden grotto. What manner of sorcery could have lured him into that cave? That is indeed a vital question, but for now... Yeah, tell me about yourself and your staff. Well, the staff here is small, but we manage. Chef Chu and I have been working here since the beginning. Sun Ying, the maidservant, came aboard last spring. We have to replace the first maidservant because his mother was sick and she wanted to return home to care for her. The rules and routines here are very strict, with all the secrecy and all, so there's little room for error or improvisation, and tonight was no exception. How did you prepare for tonight? Yes, sir. Our preparations were meticulous as always. We first greeted Minister Wang, followed by the ambassador shortly after sundown. I set the tables and lit the evening candles, and we promptly began serving supper, and then tea. That's when I headed back to the kitchen to help prepare the desserts. Well, you know what happened next. Did anyone else eat besides the minister and the ambassador? No, sir. The staff isn't allowed to eat until long after the guests have left. They've been instructed to eat before they arrive here, so it's usually not a concern. Same goes for the bodyguards. Am I right to assume that all the food is prepared on site? That's right, sir. Everything is prepared here by Chef Chu. We don't allow any food from the outside. And the candles? You said you lit the candles in the house at the start of the evening. What kind of candles do you use? Ah, for that, you'll have to ask Sun Ying, the maidservant. She manages our candle supply. And did anyone change or handle the candles after you initially lit them this evening? No, sir. Our candles usually last well into the night. Even now, they're still burning in the house. Okay, why are you sweeping? The minister has surely given you leave of your regular duties, no? Oh, yes, sir. This is just for me. Or rather for my nerves. Keeping busy helps me stay relaxed. Besides, after all these years doing this job, I'm not used to sitting and waiting. Old habits die hard, I guess. Okay. Thank you. I'll leave you to your work. No trouble, sir. Okay, so, how much do we trust Steward's Song? A piece of cloth has been dropped on the ground. Let's take a look at this cloth. It's a rag coated with some kind of herbal oil. I can't quite identify the herb, but it is a minty aroma. I mean, that couldn't be what made everyone fall asleep, could it? Could it? Let's go into the can we examine this? Okay, we can't mix it with a candle. Okay, let's go to the sitting room. Let's look at a painted vase. A fine painted vase featuring a dancing dragon. Oh, very nice. And there's Minister Wang. Let's take a look at the table. What's going on here? I don't have the means to analyze the contents of the meal that was served. For now, I'll need to rely purely on instinct and deduction. Okay. Yeah, we don't have the means just yet, do we? We can only just look at the tables. How's the candelabra doing? They look like ordinary candles. Mr. Song said the maidservant Sun Ying is responsible for the candle supply. So, if we can have a word with Sun Ying, that is her, no doubt. Her hands are trembling like the others. That night seems to have taken a toll. Nonetheless, her rare beauty is quite striking. I am Magistrate D. Renjie. I'd like to ask you some questions. Yes, sir, of course. My name is Sun Ying. I'm the maidservant. I'd like to hear your account of what happened tonight. Can you take me back to the beginning? Well, it all happened so fast. I remember the minister and the ambassador arriving one after the other, just after nightfall. I remember them settling into the sitting room. The minister sat here, against the wall, and the ambassador was over there, to his left. We began the dinner service soon after that. Later, I remember Mr. Song saying he was going to the kitchen to check on the desserts, and that's when things took a terrible turn. One moment, I was serving tea, and the next, I was lying on the floor, confused and disoriented. When I realized we had been drugged and that the ambassador had been killed, I was so afraid, I didn't know what to think. All I know is that he didn't deserve to die that way. But our destinies are often beyond our own control. We bend and break at the mercy of a higher power. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to ramble on. No need to apologize. What's taken place here tonight would unnerve the best of us. Thank you for your kind words. I hope you find the person who did this and bring them to justice. Tell me about yourself. I'm just a simple servant girl. Have been here since I was little. My parents died when I was very young, so I had to learn to fend for myself. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you treated well here? That I am, sir, very well. Minister Wang is a good man, and Minister Strong, he's very demanding, but I've never known him to be unreasonable. But now that this has happened, I wonder if they'll continue to let us work here. How did you end up working here? I applied to an agency. They put my name on a waiting list and told me they'd contact me if anything came up. I heard the girl who worked here before me had to leave because she had to take care of her sick mother. I guess I was just next in line. After that, I was happy to pay them their finder's fee. Okay. About the candles? Who supplies them? I buy a new batch every week from a local candle maker. I don't remember his name, sir, but everybody in town buys their candles from his shop. Did you notice anything different about the latest batch? No, sir. They looked and smelled the same to me. They're just plain unscented candles. I'd like to examine any leftovers you may have. Where do you keep them? Yes, of course. They're stored in a small lockbox in the storage room. Here's the key. Okay. Thank you, Miss Sun. I hope I was of some help. I mean, she was, actually. Let's ask her about the candle. No, let's not. I guess we can't. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like there's anything else we can look at here. Let's... Antique vase? Judging by its style and shape, this piece may date as far back as the Zhou dynasty. Okay, so this is the entrance courtyard. Let's go to the kitchen. And here's Chef Chu. What is going on with the dried vegetables? Onions, ginger, garlic, the usual assortment of dried vegetables. What's on the board? A board detailing the week's menu. The only noteworthy thing is how well organized the staff is. Okay, we need to find the murder weapon. Let's check out the wine. It looks like the chef's been drinking wine. I mean, of course. Desserts. Assorted desserts, nothing out of the ordinary here. Charcoal tongs, hello. A pair of tongs used to handle the charcoal that feeds the stove. I mean, This might come in handy. Oh, I know what that's for. Let's check the brick stove. The coal inside is still warm. Okay. Anything else? No, nothing along there. Nothing but the dirt. Okay, let's talk to Chef Chu. He seems oddly relaxed. Why is he so chilled? Are you the chef? Yes, sir. Chu Fu's the name. You must be the detective. Yes, I am. I am D. Renjie. I'm the newly appointed the new investigating magistrate of Peng Lai. I've heard of you. Is that so? Yes, my cousin Sing is the cook at the military fort. He told me all about your recent visit there. He even told me he prepared his specialty pork dumplings. But between you and me, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you've had better. That cousin of mine, he's always been a bragger. You seem strangely undisturbed by tonight's events, Chef Chu. Tell me, have you been drinking wine? Well, I suppose I did have a sip of wine here and there. It's been such a long and stressful night, I was just trying to stay calm and calm my nerves a little. I see. And do you think you're fit enough to answer a few questions? Fit enough? Ha! I'd wager I'm the sharpest one here, sir. You needn't worry 1 second. Fire away. Very well. About falling unconscious. Let's see, I was standing over there, plating those custard tarts. Mr. Song was standing right beside me. I swear that man wouldn't know the difference between a tart and a pie if his life depended on it. Don't get me wrong, he's a hard-working man and everything, but he doesn't know heads from tails in the kitchen. Well, anyway, it was around then that I started feeling dizzy, like I was in a drunken haze, but without the drinking. I think I must have blacked out after that. The last thing I remember is the distinct metallic smell in the air. Regrettably, I passed out before I could identify it. You think you could have identified it? Didn't I tell you? At the risk of sounding boastful, I am blessed with a nose, or should I say precisely, instrument, capable of recognizing any ingredient only by its scent. In culinary school, they used to call me the Hound. One whiff of someone's breath and I could tell them the contents of their last meal. Would you like to give it a try? Why not? It smells like you had some steamed chicken. Prepared with ginger and chives, am I right? That's correct. That's quite a talent you have there, Chef Chu. Haha! I knew a man like you would appreciate such refined senses. If you would like me to demonstrate it again, feel free to bring me anything with the slightest hint of an aroma, and I'll identify the source. That sounds quite useful. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, about the dinner service. The minister prefers his meals light and simple, and tonight's menu was no different. I first prepared a sweet duck soup, followed by some fish fried cakes and white rice. The custard tarts were next, but as it turns out, we never got around to serving those. Did you prepare the food yourself? Of course, unlike my cousin who relies on his assistants, I don't let anyone else touch my food. Okay, tell us about yourself. You want to know about me? I see where this is going. I suppose we're all suspects here, aren't we? No need to be tactful around me, sir. I know how this works. You're pretending your questions are harmless and routine, while all along setting a trap for the unsuspecting wrongdoer. Isn't that right? Yeah, you got me. You got me. No sense in trying to trick a clever man such as yourself. In fact, I'm beginning to think that your superior intellect fits exactly that of our killers. I think I'll send everyone else home now, but I suppose you saw that coming as well. I'm terribly sorry, sir. I was just jesting. I didn't mean to offend. It was just the wine. I'm not usually this talkative. So as I was saying, I come from a long line of chefs, 4 generations if you can believe it. I've been a chef now for 16 years, and that's exactly 2 more than my older cousin Sing. In recent years, I've settled for work in the Imperial Court, going wherever they ask. The pay is a little better, and I don't mind the traveling. A bachelor's life has its perks, you know. Okay, do you have any theories? It's those damned revolutionaries. They're plotting to overthrow the Empire. I just know it. They have eyes and ears everywhere. My cousin Sing, he thinks I'm crazy. Doesn't think the throne is vulnerable, but that's exactly the kind of thinking that will get you in trouble. You wouldn't happen to have any proof of these conspiracy theories, would you? Proof? Well, not exactly. You see, it's more of a gut feeling than anything else. All these years cooking for scholars, aristocrats, and officers, one picks up on these things. I see. Well, unless your gut can muster up an actual evidence relating to the situation at hand, I'd rather we leave those grand theories for another day. Yes, of course. Okay, about your cousin Singh. Fond of him? You must be joking. He's been a nuisance all my life. He's more like a rival, a nemesis, who am I kidding? Singh's the only family I got. A true friend. Wait, you're not gonna go tell him I said that, are you? You can't. You mustn't, or I won't hear the end of it. No need to worry. I won't tell a soul. Okay. That's all for now. Thank you. So first of all, let's see if there's a scent with this candle. Oh no, that's not helping, is it? What about the silk handkerchief? Okay, I mean... Okay, I guess... We can't have him smell anything. What about this coated rag? Can you identify the origin of the oil in this rag? It's peppermint. Peppermint, are you certain? Positive. Granted, I don't generally cook with it, but it's a fine medicinal oil, perfect for clearing a mild headache, or perhaps a severe case of drunkenness. Haha. One whiff of this stuff will wake you right up. Yes, of course. The killer had planned to put everyone to sleep, including the ambassador, but needed a way to wake him up. Thank you, Chef Chu, that was very helpful. Okay. Confirmed that a rag coated in peppermint oil was used to wake Choi. We're getting there. Alright, well, yeah, this is certainly getting us somewhere, slowly but surely. Guys, we're going to take a quick break here. When we get back, we'll be carrying on our detectiving. We are getting there. We've gotten some items that we can investigate. We've got some things as well that we can use to open some other stuffs. And we have leads on where we should be going and looking next. So we'll be doing that in due course. But yeah, that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.